the trouble with prison life, we're all very young people, and it seemed an age for us. The period we spent in prison camp would be nothing now, but and you never knew how long it was going to take before we were freed, or what would happen to us at the end, particularly after 50 and the uncertainty. Food was very short, and I've said so often. Typical of this was we used to get a loaf of German bread that I was convinced was made of sawdust, and when there was one bread slicing machine on the camp, a hand slicer, and you used to cut it up and see how many slices we could make out of it. You had to book to use a slicer. And then we would lay it on the table. There were 16 of us in the hut, in the room. You would then cut cards who had choice of slice, just in case one had a grain of sawdust more than the other. And the same happened with what we used to call glop. Very occasionally we would get some sort of liquid with weevils in it. And we'd ladle that out in the 16 bowls. We'd cut the cards who had choice of bowl, just in case one had a little more than the other. Then we would actually cut the cards who would lick out the pail or whatever it came in. Exercise, we used to walk around the perimeter. We used to call it bashing the circuit. And this perimeter was probably a mile round, I can't remember. But that's how we exercise. There are lots of sports like, obviously football, a kind of cricket with limited equipment. But what was popular was volleyball because you needed so little for that. There was a so-called gymnasium. I mean, it was one room with some weights, some homemade weights, a couple of jam tins with a bit of concrete in them.